Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Midnight Mormons live stream. I am Cardon Ellis, your host, and today I'm joined in the studio by none other than Kwaku
Hello.
and Bradley Witbeck. Say hi, guys. What's going on? And I just realized I don't know if I can hear myself or if these guys can hear me because I don't have my headphones on either. All right, so what's up, guys? How you doing?
I'm good, you know.
You good?
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Today is the day that none of us knew if it was going to come, but it came where Elon Musk has purchased all of Twitter. He is the single shareholder and now owns Twitter. It's a private company. And so I don't even know if we're allowed to say the names of people who are coming back because certain names you can't even say on YouTube.
Well, are they going to be, though? That's the big question. Like, okay. So the big news, Elon Musk bought Twitter, and Twitter, Instagram, YouTube has been blowing up today with speculation about what this means. What do you think it means? I know what I think it means, but what do you think it means, Brad or Kwaku, for us specifically as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and our society at large? Who wants to go first?
I mean, I'll start off.
Okay.
I think it's super awesome that Elon Musk bought Twitter. I think, first off, finally we're seeing some accountability for big tech in a way, even if it's not like real accountability yet.
Okay.
I'm just hopeful about the entire situation. Like, I hope that he actually just cuts down the algorithms, makes them more public, and really does go for freedom of speech, right? Like he's saying he wants to. Because I think I've seen a ton of people being like, oh no, a billionaire buying like all of Twitter. It's like, guys, it was made by a billionaire.
What's led you to think that that's actually his true intention?
That's what he said.
Well,
Like, have you seen his polls?
He said you can't get canceled off Twitter if you own Twitter, which could be interpreted.
He said that
as,
recently, but he did his poll saying like, hey, do you feel like Twitter upholds the freedom of speech? And most people said no, right?
Because
I mean, I voted in the poll, and like I've been following this for a little while now, and he's definitely committed to an idea of freedom of speech. That's one of the reasons he's given for why he's doing this. Okay. And I hope it's the primary one, right? I think that'd be awesome.
You don't think it's just a cynical money grab because he could make it profitable just by owning it and leading everybody on for a year, thinking it's great, and then dumping it later?
Well, I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see if that's what happens. I just think he has been upfront about wanting to do this because freedom of speech is so central to a functioning democracy. And honestly, Twitter has been censoring people and really like quashing people that they...
Oh, no, and swinging elections. I mean, they censored the Joe Biden laptop story, which the exit polls showed that like a third of the people, had they known about the Hunter Biden laptop story and its authenticity, would have voted differently. And if you add up that 1/3 of the 22% that said they would have voted differently, it would have been 2 or 3% necessary to swing the Electoral College and give Donald Trump a formidable victory. So the big question is, do you think Donald Trump's coming back? Kwaku.
So apparently he said that he wasn't. He was going to stay on Truth Social, which that's not going to go anywhere, Truth Social.
Well, not if Twitter is back in the way it was basically originally. Right?
I think Michael Caine, like 5 hours ago, just tweets, hello. Like, why is Michael Caine randomly getting back up?
It is now safe for me to come on Twitter. Elon Musk is in charge.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna
true.
It's gonna make
the bodies off.
Master Wayne, I promise your mother and father that I would take care of you. That's my Michael Caine.
And your tweets. But your tweets are getting out of hand.
You know, I think it's gonna make Twitter just more exciting. But go ahead.
I think that well, you look at Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. A lot of these super, super rich billionaires own very, very important news outlets. But Elon Musk smartened up of the tech wave to see that I don't need to own a news outlet. I need to own an app, an important app that all the news floods to. So he went and saw that all these news companies are owned by billionaires. He said, I'm going to own the platform in which those news companies get their news out. So I think he outsmarted all of them. He joined the rest of the billionaires in owning a platform for information. But I think the craziest thing is it means Alex Jones might be back on Twitter. And frankly, all I want to see is more funny Alex Jones memes. I think that is the only reason I have Twitter. And when you really think about right now, like people like Sean King having just deleted their Twitter account, right?
Yeah.
or Talcum X, as we lovingly refer to him.
Yeah,
he's a white guy who pretends to be black.
Talcum X, dude. That was the best one I heard.
Yeah.
I heard
Mayo
all
Luther King is also a nice...
Mayo Luther King.
Nice
Oh, that's
second.
beautiful.
But now you're noticing so many of these accounts are like big accounts, blue checks are terrified because right now there's a metal wall with a string. And behind that metal wall is Donald Trump, Alex Jones, Gavin McInnes, Milo Yiannopoulos, Nick Fuentes, all these people. And all Elon Musk has to do is let go of the string, and the wall goes up. And the trolling in 2022 is going to be unmatched because whenever you muzzle a dog, when you take off the muzzle, they just bite harder. And we thought the trolling was bad in 2016. Oh, my goodness. It is going to be ruthless. Absolutely. I don't even want to be on Twitter. That's how ruthless it's going to be.
At the same time, I hope people show like some form of restraint and be like, hey,
ain't no way it's
I'm
going to happen.
glad that we have freedom of speech restored and not just go crazy, except I've already seen it happening.
No,
I've already seen people being like, so I can say whatever I want now, huh?
What's going to happen is it's going to be revenge of the the based, because you got the based versus the wokes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Did you say the based versus the wokes?
Yeah, the based is like the
because
conservative
we're
of woke.
based, man.
Yeah.
We're so based.
So based versus woke, and the wokes have been having all their fun and having all their fights, and the based are going to come, and there's going to be so many memes and fights. It is going to be a bloodbath, and it's going to be hard to look away. And I think this action right here has changed the 2024 election. I think this is this is a big deal. Whenever the blue checks are all collectively freaking out about something, that means we should be paying attention to it.
And you know, I got to tell you right now, guys, everybody in the chat. First off, we got a couple of super chats here. Thank you very much. We are going to address those. If you have a question you want to ask us, we're kind of doing a little bit of an Ask Me Anything today. We're just in a really good mood. We just got back from the Church of Scientology, did a little cruise there. We just had some amazing recording sessions with a couple of really awesome guests. So we're coming in hot, especially knowing Elon Musk bought Twitter because, dude, I got to tell you right now, I'm with you, Kwaku. I think this is huge, and I'll tell you why. But so anyway, chat. Let us know what you think, but super chat us. You got something you want us to say, you want a shout out you want us to give, or you got a special question, hit us.
Well,
and before I address them, I'm going to give you why I think this is huge why this is huge. The only reason why wokeism has gotten so far in our society, specifically the progmo and anti-Mormon, ex-Mormon wave, is because they were able to weaponize the empathy of people to fool them into narratives that were enforced on social media. If you were pro-traditional marriage, for example, they were able to twist that and edit it into newspaper articles and all kinds of different media that got propagated on social media like wildfire through the algorithms that kept on boosting anti-Mormon, anti-traditional, anti-religious ideas, right? And any kind of responses to those attacks were automatically labeled as the big H-word speech, okay? And as, quote, private companies, all of these big tech companies could actually enforce that H-word speech, okay? We've never had a level playing field since maybe the first 1 or 2 years that these social media platforms were established, okay? Now that if he really does level that playing field, and by the way, I'll believe it when they escrow the money and we see the algorithmic change, okay? Mm-hmm. All of us are assuming that all of a sudden it's going to be a level playing field. And who knows, maybe Elon Musk disappoints us all or anything like that. But let me tell you, if he goes back to adding a redemption narrative to Twitter, meaning that if you get banned, you can come back after a while, you can repent, for lack of a better term, and come play nice, you're right. It's not like a bunch of leftists are going to come back with BDE. You know what I'm saying?
What's that stand for?
You just taught it to me yesterday, so I'm really excited to use it.
My bishop is watching. I'm not going to say.
Well, you showed me. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh!
I'm just Just kidding. It was an energetic evening. Just kidding. Anyway,
That's the weirdest thing you've ever said.
well, it's BDE, man. Anyway, okay, so I got to tell you, if Elon Musk makes good on the insinuated promises, the insinuated campaign promises of at least leveling the playing field,
Yeah.
then wokeism can't survive a level playing field.
And the weird thing is, Twitter is the home of all of that woke stuff. You know, that's what all of these other news media outlets are quoting when they're saying, like, people online are saying these things. And then they quote like 5 tweets
by the way,
saying all these random things.
Do you know where news literally comes from? I've worked at WABC, KHTS. I've worked at a lot of radio stations, a lot of media outlets in my life, all right? Do you know what the modern pipeline for news is?
What? Hit us.
Like, it'll blow your mind how pathetic it is.
Yeah.
Literally, journalists just subscribe to a ton of real journalists that go out and do real journalism. So, like, all of the supposedly, like, legitimate and authoritative sources, all they do is subscribe to a bunch of these, like, go get them in the street videographers and you know, armchair journalists, as they call them, that actually go out into the streets and find things. And they subscribe to watchdog groups on Twitter. And literally all day they scan Twitter, seeing what happens, and then simply try and verify it on Google. And then if they can verify it, they add their spin and they make a news story out of it. But we started noticing this really badly in about 2015, 2016, we started noticing this. But it got really bad by 2017, 2018, where things that would pop up on our Twitter feeds that I would notice on my radio show, Problem Solver Politics, you know, we were a YouTube channel that had 20,000 subs, and we were doing news stories on things that weren't showing up in the news cycle on Fox News and CNN or on the local local newspapers will get it first. So Twitter gets it first because it happens that day. Then local news outlets might cover it the next day because maybe somebody was there or they're able to verify it in person. And then by 48 to 72 hours, that's when Fox News and CNN actually gets a hold of it. And it finally becomes real news. But you're actually more in the know subscribing to all these people on Twitter and in the know faster as to what's going on than if you're actually sitting at home watching the authoritative news sources. So all modern journalists did was they switched to literally just scouring Twitter. That's all they did.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Well, not to beat this dead horse too much, but there's a couple comments here. Brad,
hit it.
When did you become a rabbi? Is by one of the comments. Because of the beard you do. And then they called me Babyface Kwaku, which is
Babyface.
Babyface. Well, a little bit.
Well, youthful face.
Youthful face.
Hey, well, we'll read through the
I don't
read
have my
through the super
adrenochrome
chats
with me, so I'm
Yeah.
not.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding.
So
Read through the super. Oh,
the
actually, I'll
first
read the
super chat.
Okay, hit
the
it,
first
Brad.
one that we've got. The guy says, "Hey, Kwaku, I just wanted to ask you to have a podcast meeting with Zelf on the Shelf. They would love to debate you guys, and I think it can really go somewhere."
No,
No,
And then
they've never invited us, and I've invited them multiple times
No,
on their
I-
social
Then they
media
said,
outlets.
"Nuance Ho and Zelf on the Shelf podcast, please." Was their
I
super chat.
challenged Tanner Gilliland to a debate 4 years ago and offered him $5,000. He turned it down, and then I offered him $10,000 to debate.
Literally all of them
they all said
except
no.
for RFM are cowards. Like RFM, and what's funny is we didn't challenge RFM, we challenged Bill Reel, but he pulled a medieval switcheroo where like he accepted the challenge and then challenged us, and there was a lot of saber rattling, but ultimately at the end of the day, he just chickened out, and then he sent RFM in his stead. So I actually, believe it or not, I would actually like to have a regular sit-down meeting with microphones with just RFM where we have a chance to talk, because I actually think that could be interesting and productive.
Oh, maybe if
I
he can get
do.
over being a bully.
No, I
He's
think
like an elementary school bully.
No.
dude.
RFM?
he was
Yeah.
showing off for people in the crowd. If there was no
Yeah,
crowd,
if
I
he
think,
could get past it, maybe. Yeah.
well, I
yeah.
could.
If he doesn't have a crowd, then sure.
Yeah. I really think actually we could have a very interesting and productive and intelligent conversation with RFM, because when there is no crowd. But anyway, so Samuel Castro, thank you for the super chat, my man. It says message was retracted. I don't know what you wanted to say, but I'm sure it was good. Sons of God, thanks again for the super chat. Says Nuance Home and Zelf on the Shelf podcast, please. You know, I've reached out to Zelf on the Shelf because I think some of their music videos were actually quite entertaining. I don't care if they're anti-Mormon. I'm all about satire. And I thought they had some funny stuff. Some of the stuff was cringe, but some of it was actually pretty funny. So let's focus on the funny and then have a convo.
They won't. They won't.
Yeah, they're all cowards. Wokeism is cowardism, or is cowardice. So.
I mean, they made videos responding to "This is the show."
Yeah,
but they don't ever do face to face. Most of these people are they have so much anxiety over everything, probably because of like whatever, and they just can't. They see you face to face, start shaking and run away. It's like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
So yeah, Tanner Gilliland, it's still open, the invitation to a debate.
Yeah.
But you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Because you're a little. You coughed at the right time.
I know. I just So AJ, the LDS Political Theological Talk Show. Thank you very much for the super chat, my man. Once again, we still got to check that out. And then, yes, I see the comment, when did Brad become a rabbi? Actually, I think we've said this in other podcasts. But I think it's worth bringing up again. In fact, I hate doing this stuff in real time, but
what are you doing?
What was the name of your video again? It was
the King Benjamin's address.
So King, this is what's fun about live streaming instead of, standalone videos. King Benjamin's address. We're going to pull it up, go to videos on YouTube, and then our audience is going to be able to see the glory of the bearded Brad. So here we go.
Oh my
King
gosh.
Benjamin's address. Because you're the thumbnail when we first pull it up, right? Oh, here it is, dude. Here it is. I'm going to press pause. You know what I'm saying? Do we see you? Do we see you, Brad? Here it is. So everybody can see what I'm looking at. And we're going to scrub this a little bit. Oh, there's Brad. Brad is King Benjamin, except no substitutions, ladies and gentlemen.
King Benjamin.
It's Mosiah. Or no, sorry, King Mosiah. Okay, hold on. So that's King Benjamin, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So there's King Benjamin doing his thing with the kids because he's an awesome king that always paid for it with himself. And then boom, there's Brad the Chad Witbeck.
When my hair was super long, dude.
Yeah, dude, that was pretty cool, man.
It was really fun.
You got to admit, that's pretty sick right there. Although you look a little bit nervous in this part, though, bro.
Oh, of course. He's about to proclaim me to be the king.
Yeah, okay. Was that such a bad thing?
And I was literally standing on a super high tower, and I was kind of worried it was going to fall.
Really? Was it kind of freaky?
Well, it was windy. And it was like swaying a little bit. I know it was absolutely safe. Otherwise, they wouldn't have just put us up there. But like, I was like, oh, man.
Is that the one in Springville?
No. This one was out in Hawaii, dude.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was freaking sweet.
I think it's really funny. Can I just say that right after you guys stopped filming the Book of Mormon videos up in Cobble Creek Canyon, 3 days later, Young and Dumb took over that area and threw a Halloween party.
Dude, that's funny.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right. Oh, hit it. What? You got something to say?
This question now right here is about Under the Banner of Heaven, and I figure we better talk about it because that's the premieres tonight.
Yeah,
right?
Premieres tonight for
it's like a who's who of progmos and anti-Mormons all hanging out with each other.
Yeah, what's her name? Christina Rossetti was just sent out a picture of what's going on at the premiere, and I guess she and Lindsay Hansen Park were consulting on the show or something. I don't know what exactly was going on there.
Okay, so.
Oh, I guess Stacey Harkey's there, dude.
Oh, hi, Stacey. Okay, so this is a movie, Under the Banner of Heaven. If you guys don't know,
dude, I am dying, dog.
Dude, you really are. Maybe
I inhaled an onion on that pizza, and it's like lodged in my throat. But anyway, keep going.
Well, okay, so if you, he's got COVID. If you know what Under the Banner of Heaven is, it's this movie based on a book about the Lafferty brothers. The Lafferty brothers were the crazy guys who like murdered a woman and her little baby, and they executed her in the form of a temple endowment ceremony, part of it. And then the guy who had investigated it realized that it was really creepy and really weird. They got excommunicated. One died. The other's in jail. And They're making a movie about it, but in the movie, we don't know. I have not seen the movie, the TV show. I don't know. I do not know. I'll make it clear. I'm not judging before I've seen it. But what people are saying is they show garments, they show temple stuff that you're not supposed to show out, and they really do everything they can to make the church look really bad. And so that's basically what we might be dealing with. That's what I'm saying. I said I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we haven't
were
seen it
coughing
yet,
a
so we can't.
storm.
Yeah, sorry.
We're not going to judge it before we see it. I just will say, from what I
We
have
have
seen
predictions.
from the trailer, it doesn't look to me like they're going to portray things super fairly. Like, they are showing stuff from, like, temple ceremonies in a way that makes me pretty certain they're not going to be focused on how temple ceremonies are focused on Christ. I get the feeling they're going to be pretty heavily making members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints seem like other and weird and bad. That's what this signals to me when I watch this, and when I read like what it said in the Salt Lake Tribune when Dustin Lance Black was saying like a lot of members will probably be unhappy with this because I shouldn't have to respect the temple.
All the wrong people
ceremony.
that hate the church and want to embarrass it or make it look bad are excited, which makes me think, on the Venn diagram between you and me, there's very little shared ground.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not one of those guys that says, oh, you can't make fun of the Mormon church, for example. Oh, dude, there's tons of crap. We make fun of it all the time.
Uh-huh.
I think there's some hilarious stuff about Mormonism you can make fun of from a comedian's perspective.
Oh, for sure.
I'm just like, that's fair game. And also, I think there's some really crazy stuff, especially in our history, that is fair game as well. But you also have to remember, there are just evil and crazy people in this world that do evil and crazy things, and they're held to account. And the church distanced themselves from these guys. They excommunicated them. Their family distanced themselves from them. Everything was done in order for these people to have been dealt with, I guess, correctly by their society. And there will be no respect for that, I predict. And they will do their best to conflate mainstream Mormonism with anything radicalized, psychotic, or evil that these individual men did.
It's absolutely crazy considering, like, oh, really, what are the fruits of the LDS faith? A random murder that happened this far back, that's what you're going to have to go to prove your thesis, by the way, that John Krakauer had, the guy who wrote the book. He's the one saying, like, oh, religion is inherently leading people to violence. That's like part of what he wanted to prove with this book, right?
Well, yeah, and it's sad. And like you were there, Brad, we talked with the younger brother of the Laffertys. I actually grew up Lafferty family. One of the most godly, kind, nice men I know is younger brother to them. And they were never reached out to or talked to, but Lindsay Hanson Park was. So I'm sure zero agenda there by Dustin Lance Black. Now, with that said, the trailer looks really cool.
It looks incredibly filmed.
I'll probably watch the show. And
Andrew
then
Garfield is like my favorite actor. So it's
So it's like, I'm not afraid of having an awesome, epic movie done on these two evil guys. Like, portraits of evil are intriguing and you can't look away.
And I'm all down for like saying, hey, violence is bad. Let's absolutely focus on that.
I haven't seen. Wait, no, I saw that one. I have seen him in one movie, Andrew Garfield, the one where he was Spider-Man, and Dennis Leary was like his chick's dad or something.
Okay,
that's all I know about Andrew Garfield. Is really the one obscure Spider-Man movie.
No, and you saw the movie that Angelina Jolie directed about the J-Dub. No, not Angelina Jolie.
Huh?
Sorry, that was the World War II biopic. No, Andrew Garfield was the Jehovah's Witness medic in World War II. Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah. Is there a religion this guy can't play? I don't think there is.
He's also like 40 and he looks 29. So
yeah,
this
he's
dude's
aged
really
incredibly well.
He's 40?
Also, by the way, we have a lot of comments. I know they're being funny, saying, "Tell me more about how Joseph Smith killed all the werewolves." And
yeah. Okay, hit it.
Yes. He did kill all the werewolves, all of them. And I firmly believe that when they come back, Joseph Smith will also come back again to kill all the werewolves. So,
okay, well, first off, what's your proof that he killed them?
Do you see any? I don't.
I haven't seen one recently. Yeah, there we
Have
are.
you ever seen Joseph Smith in the same room with a werewolf? No.
Well, what we mean by that, for the people tuning and watching having no clue what we're referencing, is I gave a detailed display of alternate world history in which the ancient fantastical creatures like goblins and fairies and all that stuff existed, and how they disappeared when Christianity became large and fought against monsters, which is detailed heavily in historical accounts, just in time for Joseph Smith to restore the gospel. And so Cardon took that to mean Joseph Smith killed all the werewolves,
and that's what he made the title,
which is, by the way, a great title. That's like, you're gonna click on that more. So
back to the Banner of Heaven thing. One thing I do want to say, I bet it's good storytelling.
Yeah.
Because Krakauer wrote a compelling book.
Yeah.
He I'm sure he wrote a really, really good story.
Didn't he interview a bunch of historians and like they said, look, your version of history is not accurate to Mormon history. And he finally went through interviewing enough historians until finally somebody said, okay, fine, I'll tell your version of the story. I heard that's like
I
how
heard
it went.
something like that, but I mean,
yeah, okay.
I also heard that there were like some corrections contested that eventually did get made also.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah, I'm not sure exactly where it's at. I really hope that it doesn't set things up in a way that's like, hey, if Mormons are like, Mormons should do all of this to prove that they're not really violent, you know? Like that would be weird, and that's what I'm worried it's going to turn into.
So I'm just going to put this on the screen so people can see it, because Kwaku was referencing Joseph Smith killed all the werewolves.
Yeah.
And I do have to
did.
mirror what Kwaku said. This is one of my favorite thumbnails we ever did. Was Joseph Smith killed all the werewolves.
What if we just start making up apocryphal stories that never happened to our audience? Without response, but just making stuff up.
Then we'd be like the original historians. By the way, someone's saying, is this live or pre-recorded and streaming? I think we should let them know this is live.
I am coughing up a lung. This is about as live as it gets right here.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Well,
You know what I'm
Cardon,
saying?
maybe I know why.
What, dude? What's
You don't
going
drink enough water. You yell a lot.
Seriously.
And we
dude.
recorded a ton today. Now, we got another super chat in here.
hit it.
It's
What do you got?
So do you guys believe that the 11th article of faith unifies us, although we have differences and beliefs at times?
Well, first off, I think the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the ultimate unifier, because its principal doctrine is that we're all children of God, a loving Heavenly Father that loves us all. So any derivative of that, namely prophetic creeds or doctrines of covenants and statements of articles of faith and so on and so forth, I would think would have to be uniting.
Yeah.
What specifically is the 11th article of faith, though, Brad? Hit me. Do you have the primary song memorized, or do you just have it
there's
memorized?
A primary song for it?
Yeah,
No, I just had it memorized as a kid.
Shut up.
but
Do you? Do you really?
I did as a kid.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure I don't get it precise right now, so I've got it up here. We claim the privilege of worshiping Almighty God according to the dictates of our own conscience, and allow all men the same privilege. Let them worship how, where, or what they may. I actually think this is a very good unifying belief.
Okay.
Even if we have differences in beliefs, it is basically saying differences in those beliefs are okay, right?
Okay.
I really, really appreciate that religious freedom is a core tenet of our faith, because it's central to agency, you know? And so I think that it helps us to be unified in being what I see as right. I don't think it would be right for us to say, hey, yeah, no, you can only believe this, or you're a horrible person, right? Like that would be destructive and useless. So
right.
I think it unifies us, even though we have difference in belief.
All right. What about you? Kwaku, give your answer, baby.
Do I think it unifies people? Yes, but also, I don't know. I don't think people look at it and go, "Wow, I feel numbered with them." I just think if they hate us, they hate us. Hate us because they ain't us.
Okay.
Ain't us, not anus. That could have sounded.
Yeah, that could have sounded gross.
Weird.
Quick.
Okay,
We're
so
in California.
here's an interesting one. SWTM Tessusu. By the way, this person, I can't tell if that's a he or a she in the thumbnail, and there's no name on it. So whoever this person is also is the one that I ripped off the term Brad the Chad from.
Oh.
Earlier, they had texted Brad the Chad, and I recognized that handle. So anyway, at Kwaku, where can I view your old videos? They were beyond amazing. All you guys react to the Why I Left the Mormon Church vid by Johnny Harris. Oh, I actually have wanted to, it's been on my list to try and get Johnny Harris on. Because
that'd be really cool.
Here's the deal. This is my deal with the Johnny Harris video on why I left the Mormon Church, all right? For those that aren't familiar, Johnny Harris is a very prominent online journalist that was famous for his Vice videos where he would go to areas where there's weird borders. And he was so good at animating these borders and making cool graphics about all of his vlogging that now in the online community, we oftentimes call them Johnny Harris borders. Whenever you see like a really cool map that's animated to show how an army crossed the border into this country or how this fence was built along this border along a river or whatever, Johnny Harris got really, really good at using Adobe After Effects in order to make these
He's
borders.
Incredibly talented.
Yeah,
He really is. Really talented.
He's an incredibly talented guy.
Yeah.
And what's so interesting, though, is he talks about, oh, well, this is why I left Mormon Church. And he basically gave the woke talking points of, oh, you know, the homophobia, oh, the racism, oh, the misogyny, yada, this and that. But then shortly thereafter, like only 5 or 6 months later, he makes a video. And actually, I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see it. If we look up Johnny Harris, all right, Johnny Harris, why I left. I'm just going to pull this up so our audience can see it. There it is right there on top. Okay. So right here on top is a video titled Why I Left the Mormon Church. And the thumbnail is of him as a missionary and so on and so forth. And then why he ended up leaving the Mormon Church, saying, you know, all the woke talking points. Well, what's so interesting, there's your question about whether this is live. If you ever look back up on Johnny Harris, he makes a video for the New York Times. And this is the subject of his video. On top, liberal hypocrisy is fueling American inequality. Here's how. And he makes a video in which he honestly says, unironically, you know, usually I don't look into the details of things. Okay. Oh, there's a Johnny Harris map, for example, right there.
Nice.
Know? But in this video, he literally says, I usually don't go into the details of things because I find them boring and so on and so forth. But, you know, I'm really into people having equality and equality of housing and, you know, these kind of equalities and so on and so forth. And you know what? I'm looking into this map of these states, and it shows it on his map, where there is a veto-proof majority of Democrats that could fix every single promise that they've made ever to fix because there's no Republicans in the way of stopping them. And they're the worst states with the worst inequality, the worst traffic, the worst housing, the worst discrepancies, you know? And he has this huge come around where he realizes that Democrats have lied to him this whole time and that he was wrong about who they are and the promises they make and so on and so forth. And I kind of wanted to say, you know what, Johnny? If you're willing to accept that your political framework that has been rock solid Democrat for your entire adult life, based upon talking points and narratives sold to you by the Democrat platform, you know what I'm saying? And now you hold this Democrat platform up and recognize that all of their claims for climate change, housing equality, racial justice, so on and so forth, were lies told to get you just to vote for them and do what they want you to do politically. And now you've realized they're all liars. Would you be willing to entertain the idea that maybe those that convinced you that your faith was unscientific and bigoted and mistaken and cruel and mean and misogynistic and all of that other stuff, would you be willing to accept the fact that maybe just as you came around politically, you might come around religiously? You know what I'm saying? And you might maybe just return with a nuanced view that, okay, history is messy. It doesn't mean it was necessarily, you know, church sanctioned and so on and so forth. So I would be really interested to see how pliable his mind is and open that truly is. You know what I'm saying?
Because he strikes me as a guy who's really willing to examine his own beliefs and really study them deeply. And that's awesome. Like, that's such a commendable thing. So I think it would be really awesome to have him on sometime.
Yeah, we'll reach out. So yeah, Johnny Harris, we'd love to have you on the show. Also, he would be an intriguing interview because of the travels done. I have a lot of respect for a guy that puts his money and his talents where his mouth are, his mouth is, and puts boots on the ground. And he's gone. I think he's been on every continent doing that map show. It was actually super efficient. Not super efficient, super effective. See, whenever you're live streaming, running the video switcher and running the editing software and trying to read super chats simultaneously, it ends up getting a little bit crazy and you start saying silly things.
Here, I got you.
Okay, hit me.
So this guy, same guy who asked this, he says, wait, where do I find Kwaku's old videos? Kwaku, you got an answer?
Good question.
Yeah.
So...
Well, just how old and how morally compromising are these videos?
So one of the pivots to Stone 16 was the fact that I was a little freaked out by people like coming to me for answers as like a person, because I didn't want people being like converted to me. I felt like that was weird. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to do this fireside stuff. I didn't want to be a John by the way. I was not my goal.
You wouldn't do a fireside, bro? All the woke people are.
No, I did a bunch of them, but I didn't like how people were receiving it. I didn't like people saying, "Oh my goodness, Kwaku, you've done such a great job. You're helping me," and it always made me feel uncomfortable because, like, well, it's all about God. Don't like, and so. Then I tried to be like less astute, and I started like cussing a little more in my videos to show that, hey, I'm not that good of a person. Don't get converted because of me. And it didn't work. All it did was make me more relatable. Made it worse. Like, he's more like me. Now I want to join more now. Like, oh no.
Oh, what a burden.
So that was one of the reasons to pivot to Stone 16, which became a channel, a collaborative effort of different people. So there wasn't the Kwaku show, but now I really miss like making videos and stuff, and just like how it used to be. So. I don't know. Should I just? I would feel so guilty if I just like switched back and all the Stone 16 work we did went away. It would just be not.
Why? It's yours.
I'm fine with it. Yeah, just put it all back up and just start doing your own
also,
stuff.
Also, a lot of what we were doing on Stone 16, I feel like we could release on Midnight Mormons.
Yeah, and we might as well just start making more of our own content just solo. It's easy.
What do you guys think? Would you guys, if tomorrow the Stone 16 channel said Kwaku, and then a bunch of new videos were uploaded, how would you react? Would you be angry? Would you be happy? What? Because there's a lot of stuff I would love to talk about that I've not talked about before, including my conspiracy theories, and I really think it could be cool. But also,
I'm afraid you'd get banned. You would just get banned,
It'd
bro.
It'd just be like an Alex Jones of Mormonism. Like, what's happening over here?
Sarah Hamill's actually in Missouri. No, I wouldn't.
So anyway,
Iowa, bro. Get it right.
Eric Wolford gives us a super chat here.
Wait, before that, just a super fast thing. There was like a one-word answer. Just John Bystrom saying, bring us an interview with Justin Griffin. Get excited, John. Get excited.
Yeah, we may have that in the pipeline, dog. So Eric Wolford says, given that Under the Banner of Heaven is a Disney project, the church should be condemning Disney for this. Well, first, let's see it. I mean, trailers are notorious.
Disney literally hires all church members to work at like Disney World. Like, they love Mormons, which is ironic.
Okay, so they don't mind using Mormons to,
'Cause we look like Disney characters.
But dude, modern upper echelons of Disney leadership have been basically just become woke, dude. All of the leaked COVID conferences and everything like that show that Disney's got a completely different agenda than the one we signed up for when we thought Disney Plus was about all the princesses and all of the wholesome 2D and 3D animation. Okay, so I mean they're and by the way, I think the church should condemn acts against it, or else vulnerability breeds aggression.
Here's the deal.
But let's make sure we're careful about this.
I think the church should respond in a similar way they did to the Book of Mormon the musical.
Buy ads on it.
Yeah, it's on Hulu. Hulu has ads. Run a ton of freaking Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
I would buy one ad at the end of the last episode, and it says, "You've been warned." That's all. That's all.
something super like cryptic, like 20, 35. No, it should be just a repetition.
That would get so much press. Oh my
God. Russell M. Nelson saying, "Time is running out." Just loop that, right?
No, honestly, look, I believe Elon Musk has shown that trolling at the highest levels of society works. I am down for a troll prophet. I am down for a prophet who just likes
trolling,
to troll. Holy
man.
trolling.
Get the holy trolling
How
going.
funny would that be if it just says, "And we'll do it again too, Dallin H. Oaks." Oh my gosh! They said what? We're getting the new horrific joke when you realize what happened. But kind of like,
So anyway, I don't necessarily think condemning Disney would work, but here's what I definitely think. First, let's see it. Second, these are my problems with these kind of things. I love filmmaking. I'm a filmmaker. Okay, my last documentary won a New York Times Critics' Choice Award, August 2017. Okay, it's my first chance to EP a film. I loved it. Learned a ton. Making some documentaries now, and so on and so forth. And I do believe that when you make a narrative, creative license is totally fun. Do whatever you want. But when you make a historical biopic, okay, when you venture into the area of narrative film based on real events, I feel there's an ethics almost in journalism there, because though it's a narrative, you are doing a form of journalism when you do this.
Yeah.
And an ethic of journalism that's completely forgotten. You take the class at Columbia University, test on it once, and then never have to apply the principles to your life in media afterwards. But there's the do least harm. Okay. If you are reporting on a story of a man robbing a casino, let's just say, okay, you usually have to say, okay, this man, Timothy Whitsitt, robbed at 5:53 all of the chips out of the vault of X, Y, or Z bank and walked away with $50,000 plus $2,000 in widgets, and is now at large suspected to be in New Mexico. Okay. Now I might have access to more information as to like who his wife and who his kids are, what political party he was affiliated with, what this, what that. There's all kinds of incidental damage I could do to ruin the life of his wife and kids. I could say, X, Y, or Z person, Mr. Whitsitt, husband to so-and-so Whitsitt that works at the dry cleaner, you know what I'm saying? And also believes the same as he does. And then also name the kids and ruin their lives so they get bullied at school and so on and so forth. I think the second you want to say something's based on true events, you need to be true to those events.
Yeah.
Once you say something is based on true events, you need to be true to those events. Okay. And if they are representing these very famous Lafferty murders as being somehow a result of the doctrine of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, then they are lying. And they insinuate that that's what they're doing in the trailer when he says, this is linked to doctrines I've only heard whispers of about since I was a child, or something like that. And it's like, okay, the reason why I would have only heard those as whispers since you were a child is because they're not freaking real. You know what I'm saying? They're not ours.
Or not true.
Or they're not true. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see it. And I believe in some creative license. And if you're going to do a series about some crazy religious murders by psychopaths who like believe themselves to be prophets and things like that, fine. Like throw in some crazy, cool, creepy stuff. Like I give a wide berth for filmmakers. But when you see the Oscar speech that Dustin Lance Black gave in 2009 when he accepted the Oscars, and the very disparaging remarks that he made about the church, and you see who they hired as consultants, you know what I'm saying? People obviously abject enemies of the church, and so on and so forth. You just become very dubious of intentions and kind of a little bit disappointed. And you're like, just like, why can't we do this better? You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, dude, I ain't all ruffled feathers about it. Looks cool enough. I really like the director's style. Like I wanted to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and honestly,
I wanted to see it based on the trailer. I don't know if that's the trailer editor or the director himself, but
the directors have got to be killer. No pun intended there. But I
boom.
also think Andrew Garfield is freaking hilarious. And not in this show, obviously. He's talented, is what I was meaning to say.
Jeez, you had 2 blunders right in a row, man.
I know. But he's really, really talented, and he's very, very good, I think, at loving the characters he plays. And that's one of the reasons why he does so well. So I'm very interested to see how he portrays the character. I'm really hoping he does it in a sympathetic way, because he's playing the part of a LDS cop, right?
Yeah,
and so
a mainstream LDS cop.
Yeah, and so hopefully that's portrayed in a way that doesn't end up being disparaging of our faith. You know?
Yeah.
That's the best we can do.
Do you think it will be disparaging or not disparaging?
Well, I mean, based on the book, it's going to be pretty rough. Like Krakauer was not going out here to make a book that makes the LDS faith look good at all.
Dude, I'm finding more people are afraid of me. I don't care.
Yeah, there is some beneficial blowback when people start calling us a Desnat. Instead of saying just like, no, we're not. That's a stupid claim. Get over yourself. We should start saying, yeah, and I got your address. No, it's just
wait.
Oh my gosh,
I'm gonna be Greg Locke. Anytime someone says that my church is violent, I'm like, we got your first name, we got your last name, we even got an address for one of you.
Oh my god,
it's great.
Just be like, you witch, and, you know.
And I just got to call this one out here. Chris Murphy says, "Isn't it fair to directly compare the lift of Masonic temple or rituals to LDS temple ceremony?"
I wish they'd bring it back.
Well, I mean, it's not a direct lift of the Masonic ceremony either. I mean, that
that's
alone,
false premise.
That alone, proves you don't know what Masons actually do, and you
well,
don't
plus
recognize
he didn't
the
super
differences.
chat that question. Why are you giving credit to somebody who didn't super chat that question?
Because I want to do an episode on Mormons are just Masons that are cooler.
Yeah,
maybe I've lost so much fire to even care about.
If somebody's an anti, they have to super chat the question. I'll read a believer's standard comment, but man, you want to come at me anti? Even I at least pay to super chat my questions at John DeLynn, and then he just on the Ask Me Anythings, I'll be like, dude, dog, where's my Thrive hat? Dude, when you coming on the show? Stuff like that. And it's kind of funny because you can tell in the chat when all of a sudden he sees my name because there's like a little and then you'll see him talking while he's looking down and trying to erase stuff out of the chat. It's really funny. So anyway,
but also, I mean, think about it. It's whatever. It's a TV show in FX. It's not the end of the world,
Yeah, I mean, the musical on Broadway is a bigger deal. This one's more horrifying,
more culturally relevant.
Is our membership of our body that body of the church? Are we that weak where theater kids are a threat?
The deal, dude.
It's they're
more
flipping
people
around on
joined.
stage.
No, it's the cultural relevance. Broadway
I know.
stays. It stays for a decade in its first run, and its second run in regional theaters, it stays for another decade. You make a popular Broadway play, and have
Wicked is still a mainline.
Are you
Broadway.
kidding me? They're still doing Kiss Me Kate. They're still doing Something Rotten.
Hello,
which was
Dolly.
Yeah, Hello,
freaking
Dolly.
20s.
Something Rotten is in
Not
our
even
regional
20s.
theater, and that artist that wrote it, I think in the 20s or 30s, was when Something Rotten was written. Okay, it's a musical from the 30s. That artist has probably died, and his estate is getting the royalties that regional theater has paid for, to put on that play. And it's can you name a film that's still getting royalties outside of AFI's top 5? No, you can't. But there's, I don't know. You make a Broadway play, I just view it as more culturally influential.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm just hopeful that it'll be not as bad as I'm afraid it's going to be.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's the writer obviously doesn't like Mormons.
Yeah. By the way, wasn't our conversation today with Brother Lafferty freaking ill?
Yeah. Holy crap, it was good.
That was incredible.
Oh my gosh.
What did you dig, man?
Dude.
Is he not a phenomenal guy?
He's amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what
we couldn't get him to come on an interview because
saying,
that wasn't his bag.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But and by the way, I didn't realize that he was that close.
Yeah.
I'd grown
you
up
thought he
with
was
him.
like a cousin or something.
Well, yeah, I'd grown up with some kind of vague understanding there was some drama, you know what I'm saying, with his family and stuff like that. And obviously with his name, I made the connection once I finally heard this was coming out. But I guess it's just a smack in my face that I'm actually 30-something now. And I'd always viewed him as I don't know, just my buddy's dad. So I guess I'd never done the head math thinking, wow, he actually could be related to somebody that did that in 1984. You know, I was born in 83, so holy crap, actually that math does add up. I thought he was like a cousin or something, and that he would refer me to some, you know, relative of his that he knew that lived 15 minutes down the road from where he grew up or something. He's like, yeah, no, it's my older brothers. I was like, oh, snap.
So
you know?
I want to this question right here from Chris Murphy, same person, the anti made it in. There have never been the quantities of relics, remnants of the battles in the Book of Mormon found anywhere. So I've always found that to be a weird argument, because we have battle sites of ancient America and we have relics. But the issue is, if you find a sword from 200 AD, you have to then say, now, this sword doesn't have Nephi's name on it. That means it's not a Book of Mormon sword. Like, there's no actual quantifier to say what is or isn't from the Book of Mormon civilization. They just see something and go, well, had to be anything like this. They don't know. And I feel like this is such a dead old argument. If you still believe the ancient Indians were stupid, then I'm sorry, you're a bigot, and I'm not going to defend your bigotry. Like, if you don't know about LiDAR technology in 2022 and you're trying to seriously discuss Book of Mormon archaeology,
well, I was going to say
dumb.
That's
dumb.
That's the thing. Is
he's defending himself, saying he was responding to another comment about mounds.
Oh, I am so sorry, Chris. Now I feel bad. There's
proof that this is live.
You're not dumb.
Me coughing while you apologize.
Kwaku, what the heck?
Yeah, well, you know, it is funny. I was going to say, dude, I mean, with like less than 1% of the Amazon is discovered. And this LiDAR technology that they're getting by hooking up these things to helicopters and airplanes is just absolutely mind-blowing. The maps that they're getting of the ancient world, of the vastness of civilization that we didn't know existed. And I mean, when you have less than 1% of the Amazon mapped and that's an actual potential landing site for Lehman and Lemuel and Sam and Lehi and Sariah and the whole gang in the boat that was tight like unto a dish. Mm-hmm. Actually, no, tight like unto a dish was Ether. Sorry, I take that back. But yeah, there's just such a wild arrogance there. And I'm like, and also when they say there's no evidence in the Book of Mormon, they completely forget the first 40 pages. We're like, we found scroll Q11. Evidence. Yeah, we found scroll Q11. We found the land of Bountiful. Like, what more do you want,
we
dog?
Found Nahum. By the way, in Nahum, they found stele, death masks, one of which had the name Ishmael on it from about the right time period. Not saying it's Ishmael's actual death mask, but like it proves that is a possibility of that happening right there in that area. So like there's a ton of stuff like that here in the old world where we know where to actually look. Also, I would say check your assumptions on stuff when you're looking at like what you're expecting to see out of the Book of Mormon, because like, I don't know. I personally, when I think about the story of Ammon with the flocks, right? When there's talking about scattering of the flocks, everyone always thinks that that's sheep.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it wasn't turkeys. I mean, like when you read about the Lamanites running in and like scattering the flocks, it would be really freaking fun to go scatter a flock of turkeys. Those things would book it and just fly everywhere, right? As opposed to sheep, that'd be a lot harder to just scatter. And so like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of assumptions that we bring because it never says they were sheep. Yeah. And then he's one of the things he's saying is like, go for all of the all of the swords. Why don't they have all of these swords? The swords in the Book of Mormon are never described as being made entirely out of metal, you know, even. So I think it's just.
Yeah, these people don't realize that South American climates destroy metal underground, like incredibly so. And also, I never ever hear how this is brought up. You know, if you read the Book of Mormon and you get to 3rd Nephi, you know the part where Jesus destroys half of the cities and sinks them underwater? So it's like, well, where is it? Well, half of the places are currently in the ocean, so I don't know what to tell you there. But if you want to go scuba dive to find a knife from a Nephite, you can. I'm not going to do that.
Wait, what's under the ocean?
In 3rd Nephi 9?
A ton of
the cities that were destroyed.
I'm sinking you. I'm sinking you. Kind of like Atlantis. I'm sinking you and you. It's like, huh. They don't even realize that, though, because they haven't read it. They're getting their talking points from Reddit. And it's just really...
And honestly, I mean, based on the way that the guy's commenting, doesn't seem very interested in actually, like,
it's
trying
Chris
to
with
learn
a K, though.
anything.
That's probably a woman.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, so we got another super chat here. AJ, the LDS Political Theological Talk Show, says my son was struggling with his belief in God, and we put our discussion on my channel. Well, that's good. I guess no better way to be authentic and vulnerable than to actually just boom, record it, right? I hope you can let your audience know he was able through the conversation to find his faith again. Interesting. Well, you're doing something right, brother. Congratulations to you, and I'm glad that your son's worked out his faith.
Dude, that's
also
awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah. Eric Wilford says, good point. Member missionaries away. Member missionaries. Like we meme. Dude, what if that were a calling? Making memes.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
Like,
that'd be really effective.
That'd be awesome.
Dude, that actually, oh my gosh. I tried to start a social media group in my stake, and we did, and it worked for a little while. Then COVID happened, and the stake presidency, they don't know what they're gonna do with it quite yet now that COVID's over, right? But I want to start doing some really cool film content for just like social media and Instagram and Twitter and all that other stuff. And man, I didn't think about just not hiring, but just like calling the most, like, imagine if the one funniest guy, funniest, edgiest, or girl. I mean, there's some hilarious female comedians in my stake that I think could make some epic memes. If we just got the funniest person in every ward just to be like the ward memer.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if there was a church account like Wendy's though? I feel like that couldn't work in the online discourse, just like a church just posting memes over and over and over. Maybe it'd be really fun. And Chris, I just realized I was reading someone else's comment, not yours, that was saying, and here come the mental gymnastics. So I guess you could be totally interested in learning. I thought it was you being a jerk about it, but hey, I mean, keep commenting stuff you want to hear about, and maybe we'll find a way to get a video or two out about it.
Oh wait, I recognize that name, Chris Murphy.
Yeah,
they've commented before. I can't remember. I think I responded to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, but anyway, I like the name Brad the Chad that was discovered today in the chat. I think we're just gonna go for that, Brad. Are you down?
What?
Just calling you Brad the Chad?
Brad the Chad? Oh, because of this?
Oh, do you have a profile like the Chad? Or is it just because
beard?
you are the Chad?
I think it's just the beard itself, right? Like the beard to mustache.
Oh, that's
ratio
true. You got the beard.
Like,
oh my gosh, Brad, we
what's
gotta
going
look
on
this
for
up.
that?
Hold on. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna look up. Gosh, how do you find the original Chad? The original meme was the Virgin versus the Chad, right?
Yeah, while you're looking that up, Chris Murphy, if you
Okay.
want to just look me up on Facebook and try messaging me, let's maybe try to chat about it. We can see if we can sort something out. I don't know if I'm going to even have time coming up to get too in depth about things, but
Oh, it looks like the original. Oh, you know what? This is the original picture that the whole Virgin versus Chad argument comes from.
So look up the Chad Yes one. I think that's the one.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, it's got to be Chad Yes. Okay, so let's go for that one really fast. Hold on. So Chad Yes. So here we go. Chad. Yeah, if there's any question whether or not we're doing this in real time, here's your answer right there. Chad Yes. Oh boy. Good thing I took it off. Oh my gosh. Brad.
Do you see it?
No, do you see this one, Brad?
Did someone make another?
They made another one. Brad. Oh, this is you, dog. This is you. Brad, that is you, dude.
Yeah, true. Let's see. Which direction am I facing?
Hold on. Dude, Brad, that is you, bro, Seth.
I have the glasses and the
Yeah, we should give you some
pulled
glasses. And you are Brad the Chad. Oh my gosh, yeah. So anyway, just so anybody in our audience doesn't know, the original Yes Chad was this cat right here. Okay? This is the original Yes Chad. By the way, I love the website Know Your Meme. You know what I'm saying? So this is the original Yes Chad, and he was so notorious because oftentimes he was used to make fun of liberal talking points, because whenever somebody would go on a long rant, he would just face them and say, yes. Okay, so that's the yes Chad, but now somebody has seen fit to go beyond the yes Chad meme and now make the true Chad meme that is you, dude.
I think I even have a shirt like that, like a black hoodie shirt.
You do.
Like
I've seen it. You
the
do.
layered
Dude, do we have glasses in the studio somewhere that we can use?
I think.
Just to literally, if you had glasses and you could put glasses on and make yourself look like that Chad, that'd be crazy. By the way, while he's doing that, what are you looking up, Kwaku?
I'm on knowyourmeme.com is what I'm on.
Are you checking out the Chad?
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Well, let's see what other those people are saying here.
Yeah, hit it up. What do we got?
Now
I'm getting
people
rid of
are
these
just
memes.
arguing about Book of Mormon evidence. It's just such a tired old. Gosh, it's just so. I don't care.
One thing I do want to say about Book of Mormon evidence, I feel like
So no glasses? You didn't find any glasses?
No, they're in my other bag.
Dang it,
I have
that
like
would've
the
been
blue light
awesome.
blocking glasses that actually have like those exact frames. But
Okay. Okay.
So one thing about Book of Mormon evidence is I do really believe that God wants for us to walk by faith and not by sight, right? And
Okay.
that we've actually done an episode on this before, Cardon, where we talked about how you asked the question, do you ever think that there will be like 100% evidence that the Book of Mormon is true?
Yeah.
Like, do you think we'll find the archaeological evidence to vindicate it? And I think maybe one day, but I think God wants for us to be able to spiritually learn of the Book of Mormon and learn to have faith. We don't have enough evidence to disprove the Book of Mormon, which I know is like, that is not proof that it's true in and of itself right there, right?
Yeah.
But I think God, if God wanted us to know exactly where to look, he would have told us, you know? And so I think he wants us to not have full archaeological evidence because he doesn't want people to believe in him because of that. Like, it's like people believing in the Bible because they found out lions did actually live in Judea at the time that they were said to live in the Bible, because that was anachronistic at the time. And like, I mean, there's a ton of examples of how the Bible used to be considered anachronistic, and then we've understood history deeper and further down the line. I just think if you're going to live your life based on what archaeologists say is what happened, it's, I mean, that's such a sad standard to go off of, because it changes all the time as they learn and understand more things that happened. So I would say that's just my basic thing about Book of Mormon geography. I do think that there is actually stuff that counts as available evidence. And there's some stuff that is relatively convincing. But like, I don't think it's what you should base your testimony on. And if it is the thing that's like pushing you away, I mean, just take a look at your relationship with God too, because it's so much more important for us to focus on our Savior. That's what the book is there for, is to bring us closer to Christ to testify that Jesus Christ came to the Americas.
What's your middle initial, Brad?
T.
I think Bradley T. Witbeck is an awesome apostle name. And if you keep giving answers like that, dog, you are straight to Area 70 by the time you're 40.
Have you seen this beard?
Your mother frickin'
No.
King Mosiah, dog.
I'm going to make sure I never get called an apostle by saying this. Did you know that the alien shape-shifting Bigfoots were made in Area 51 by Jeff Bezos?
Okay, so I just need to go down that road.
You just need to go down that road?
Be safe.
I'm safe from all callings.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm pretty safe too, dude. I think I've made way too many references to Dieter Uchtdorf as the fallen one. Sometimes unironically, sometimes ironically, for me just to be permanently flagged as a problematic brother. But I'm just kidding. Anyway, we got a sick super chat here from Jonah Barnes. I recognize this brother.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah,
Jonah Barnes is the best.
Yeah, he's got some.
He leaves the best comments.
You know what? And this was pretty good too. He says, "You three rock." Thanks, bro.
Dude, thank you.
And says Giga Chad Brad. So you're Giga Chad Brad. Kwaku Kishkumen Rock on, dude.
The leader of the Gadianton robbers?
Well, no, your own kind of way. Quakish Kuman.
Kuman.
You know what I'm
He
saying?
was bad.
He was a secret combinations guy.
Yeah,
These
dude.
guys, Jonah's calling me a
Well,
plant.
dude,
That's what
you're
he's
the
calling me.
biggest fan of Scientology. Like, you're a bigger fan of
They're not allowed to know
Scientology than
that.
Tom
They're
Cruise.
not allowed to know that I'm a fan of Scientology.
Yeah. So anyway, and Cardon Savage Ellis. I can see that.
Savage! Yeah.
What?
Such a savage! Yeah.
What?
That's
That's
your-
brutal.
Um,
Do I have to switch to saying brutal? And he says, ever thought of doing a weekly podcast? Oh, I almost sneezed right there. That's funny. Ever thought of doing a weekly podcast about the Come Follow Me readings? Actually, yes. I've had people ask me if we would do that. It's a little
We
bit
would just
hard.
have Kwaku tying them back to snake people too often for us to really do it.
We actually thought it'd be funny to do a series called Dumb Follow Me, where we just kind of make fun of some of the lessons and stuff. But yeah, actually, I would be interested in that. It would probably have to be just me because you guys are always gone and it's harder to
We
tie
could
you
Skype
down.
in, you know?
But yeah, actually, I think
Skype
Actually-
I'm too busy. I can tell you right now.
Zoom in.
I can tell you right now.
Okay,
ain't no
so-
way.
so
It'd be
here's the
really,
deal.
really difficult, but
here's the deal. What
We
if
can make
me
it
and
work.
Brad, because we actually are responsible adults who manage our schedules more than just the day before it happens, like Kwaku. No, I'm just kidding.
Looking to say I'm an entrepreneur.
Would you be interested? Let us know in the chat. Would you be interested in a legit Come Follow Me series hosted by me and Bradley T. Witbeck, Area Authority 2025? You know what I'm
And I'm
saying?
going to do a show called Don't Follow Me, where I just give horrible advice and give an apostate view on scripture.
Yeah, that's true. We could have Prog Moses. We could finally bring out our character Prog Moses. You know what I'm saying?
Wait,
And,
can I take this time to introduce my new character we invented today? Jean Delin.
Jean,
Jean-Delin.
yeah, introduce
Where's
the
your
character,
mustache,
dog.
Kwaku?
There is a credible rumor that Under the Banner of Heaven was created by Dallin H. Oaks.
That is actually really
I've heard a
funny.
credible rumor that Lindsay Hansenberg wants to. I'm not going to finish what I was going to say. 'cause it's gonna-
Oh, no.
Woo!
Dude, that's actually pretty funny, dude.
Yeah, she's a demon.
So-
What? Who? Where? Yeah,
The,
she's a demon straight from hell.
I still want to just address the. Okay, so you just made me think of something, Kwaku. And by the way, everybody in the chat, get your super chats out of the system. We're pretty tired today. We're probably going to crash sometime soon. So this won't be the longest of all live streams. We'll probably be finishing up here sometime, I bet, in the next like 10 or 15 minutes.
Scientology is
But
kind of true. I just want to make it clear. It's a little bit true, okay?
Well, I mean, there's a ton of different ways to say things that we believe, right? There's a ton of crossover.
well, basically, do you
I
have
held those
the
cans.
pics?
That
What?
thing worked.
Yeah. Okay. So just so the audience knows, we met up and we decided to have a little bit of fun together as a group. And Kwaku here loves the fact that the Church of Scientology basically has its own private army,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so we decided we want to go down there. Everybody has heard all of the worst rumors about Scientology, just like everybody has always heard all of the worst rumors about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and Catholicism, and everybody knows the meme of a faith, and everybody knows the bad historical baggage of a faith, but nobody ever actually knows what it's like to step foot into a chapel. Ask an anti-Catholic what a Catholic Mass is like, and he's never been to a cathedral. Ask an anti-Mormon what Mormonism's like, and they've never stepped foot into a chapel. And everybody who's seen Going Clear and seen Leia Ramini and Scientology in the Aftermath, or whatever the show is, but none of them have actually ever stepped into a Church of Scientology. And there's tons of them here in LA. Like, Scientology is huge in Los Angeles, right? And so we decided to go to the main building.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We decided to go to the main Church of Scientology, the big blue building, and literally just cold call them and walk right in and just see what the actual experience was like. Just like a non-member of our faith were to walk into the visitor center, I guess the LA Temple, we decided we want to go and have the authentic experience, not having set it up ahead of time. So we're getting them at their just regular. Okay. And should we just talk a little bit before we go about how it went?
Yeah, dude. I mean,
Okay. First impressions, Brad, hit me.
they were just awesome. Like, the people that we talked to were just so kind and like genuinely committed to doing anything that they could to help us to be happier, better people by the time we left. It was really, really intriguing to see and to like almost feel like what it would be like to be at a visitor's center of the church and being approached by missionaries there. That's really what it felt like. But they were just super sincere. Every person that I spoke to was really, really cool, and just really engaged in like saying, hey, here's what we believe and here's how we think it could help you in your life.
And here's the thing. So everyone's always talking about, Cardon, you're
Yeah.
Everyone's always talking about Scientology's crazy and such and such and such. But here's the reality. Whenever the entire world is united in a narrative
Against
about
you.
something, I want to know, because I started doing this thing where I was like, you know what? Are we okay? We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh. The weird, I guess. Okay. Whenever the whole world is like something's bad, I want to know why. So I've started reading authors that people say you shouldn't read. And let me tell you, David Icke and some of these people I've been reading make some really interesting points. And the best thing about Scientology is the fact that they're the only church with the spine and cojones to call out Big Pharma, and they do it extensively with a lot of gusto. Big Pharma is incredibly corrupt. They're consistently poisoning people. We've documented evidence of this, and they're the only ones who call it out. And they go after the really corrupt practices that are found in psychiatry, which is also something people don't talk about. And there's a lot of death and destruction from a trail with the trail of historical psychiatry. So, if there's one group that will come after you, make you look crazy if you go after them, it is Big Pharma. So I'm not convinced they're as crazy as people say. I'm not saying all their practices are moral and right, but I am saying you can't write them off just because a journalist said, oh no, these are the bad guys. Because you know what? Filling children with serotonin reuptake inhibitors, poisoning their food, and making them mentally imbalanced and unstable is the norm, and almost no Christian church has done anything about it. Half of those pastors are cheating on their wives, and their kids are addicted to porn and are freaking drugged up. And so I'm saying maybe the Scientologists actually have some stuff to write about, and we should listen to them and not just go, oh, Xenu. Like, maybe there's some actual truth.
Yeah.
And Brad has a personal story with some Scientologists.
Yeah, so Scientologists actually saved my uncle from a heroin addiction. Is the way that my dad has put it for me. And so I was curious to learn more details about like how it is that they would go about doing that, and the kind of things that they believe, and the things they hold dear. Because I honestly think that there's like truth in every religion, right? But it's really cool to see it in Scientology as we're talking to them and as they're explaining to us what they believe. And it's just cool to see the light in their eyes as they like testify of the truths that they do know to us. It was awesome. It was so cool to be on the other end of that, you know?
Okay, interesting. So for me, full disclosure, like I watched every inch of Going Clear and Scientology, the aftermath and everything. And I mean, those are some freaky claims, right? But at the same token, I mean, you see what some ex-Mormons make up about us, right? So I was like, I'm just forcing myself, eyes wide open, gonna check this out, be as unbiased as I can. So here's a little mini, not vlog, but a little picture history of us cruising down there. So we went to the main big building, all right, the big blue building that everybody sees in LA. And once we got there, I was actually surprised that we had to put on not masks, I think
gloves.
Yeah, well, and I asked him, I was like, okay, so, you know, what's this for? Is this like an internal deal, or is this state, you know, required and stuff? And apparently he was just like, no, we're just trying to be really cooperative with the contact tracing, this and that. And I could tell that they were definitely on alert for not wanting to have an excuse for the state to come after him, which to a certain extent, I guess that's wise. You know what I'm saying? So fine. And they were super courteous about it though. Had everything waiting at the beginning. And it became plainly obvious that they're very welcoming and want to bend over backwards to ingest anybody into their visitor center. So I appreciated that. I thought that was cool. And then we met two of the coolest young Scientologists in the land, right? You know what I'm saying? So this guy right here, that was, what was his name again, Brad? It was Peter, I believe it was, right? And then we
Dude, he was so cool. He was so great.
Yeah, and then we also met not his sidekick, but another girl that works there that was super cool. That was Krista, I believe was her name, correct?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Krista from
Dude,
Burbank.
they were so awesome. They were just so kind and so good.
Now, they definitely did shut her down when I asked, could I take some pictures? Because I wanted to be super respectful and ask, like, okay, are you down with us taking pictures? You know, because we really want to come in eyes wide open, things like that. I'm a host at, FM 98.1, and I just want you to know we're not trying to make you a brunt of any joke. Right? And they were just like, dude, if you're media, like, you got to talk to media people, and you can't just come in here guns blazing. I didn't at all want to, like, try and take advantage of any kind of goodwill or anything like that. So I was just like, fine, we'll schedule this for later. But true to their word, man, I give these cats serious credit, because I have gone in cold call to 1,000,001 institutions to try and get an interview with somebody, or try and get a face-to-face with somebody or whatever, or just to see what it's like. And I've been given runaround after runaround.
Uh-huh.
Like, we're all used to the runaround. Oh, well, we'd like to, but you have to talk to the PR person, and oh, well, they're not available right now, which really means just you make me uncomfortable. I don't want to help you. I don't want to cooperate with you, right? But these people said they talked to their higher-ups, and they talked to their higher-ups, and the higher-up came down, and we had a good convo. And it took them a while. They said, like, well, it's a Sunday, so it's not normal operating hours, so we got to get a hold of somebody. But we met the person in charge of PR. They were courteous, wanted to know what we were up to, wanted to get an idea of what we were doing. And they were fully cooperative, nothing to hide, totally down. And I had actually a very touching and beautiful conversation. It sounds like we're all fanboying here. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, why not?
I like them. I bought
great.
another one of their books. I've been reading Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard. Look, I
was a little bit disappointed in one thing, though. They were like enthusiastic talking to you guys and like wanted to show you like books and things that would help. But for me, I don't know. Maybe they thought I was just a lost cause or something.
Well, you also walked in with a plastic safe case which had
for
technology,
your camera, yeah.
But it looked like you were holding a bomb. You're 9 feet tall with a beard, and you walk in. You're like, we want to film some Scientologists.
No,
and they were
I
like,
didn't.
okay.
I was super nice. Stop it. So anyway, I had a lovely and touching conversation with Peter. He came over, and these guys were doing a good job. They ingested probably 5 or 6 groups while we were there. We were just one of maybe, I'd say, 20 or 30 people that came by. And, you hear the horror stories. You're always like wondering like, oh, what's going on, right? But they were totally down, totally nice, super cordial. And this Peter guy, he actually sat down, got comfortable with me, and we just had like a heart-to-heart, bro to bro. And I asked him all the tough questions, and he gave me some great answers.
Yes.
And great enough, I decided I want to do a little mini documentary on what it's like just going there for the first time, like no BS. No ex-member BS, no pro-member propaganda or advertising or whatever, just what it's like as a third party. You know what I'm saying? That's just a respectful interlocutor that wants to just go in and get the experience and see what it's really like and show the world. Uh-huh. And I think that'll actually be really a fun and interesting project.
That would be awesome. And I just want to say that, like, I imagine just how people, like, they talk about the church as being really secretive, but then if you like sit down with a missionary and ask them, you pretty much whatever you want, as long as you're not being antagonistic about it, you're probably going to get some really solid answers out of them, right? I feel like that's what happened with you. I saw part of your conversation with Peter. Like once he was
What'd you ask your guy? I can say what I asked my guy. What'd you ask your guy?
Oh, I was chatting mostly with Krista and was just asking a little bit about the history of Scientology and the practices of Scientology. Like, what kind of things does this offer? Like, why do they have like the symbol of the cross there? What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does it mean for you guys to be living these teachings? And they were like, it's the application of your spirituality in the world, in this materialistic world.
That's something I've thought for a really long time, because Christians are always arguing about, what is the right theology, but no one really asks, how do you apply the right theology?
Yeah, what's the right practicology or practical
because
application?
It really doesn't, I hate to be the guy to say it, but it doesn't really matter at all what you believe if what you believe in practice doesn't actually improve society in your lives. That doesn't matter. And so when academics are like, well, if you read the 3rd book of Romans, and and that actually goes along with St. Johnson's pigraphal of up your ass or whatever, it's like none of those things actually matter until You apply it, and you find that certain religions, when applied, actually create a better society, such as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Those teachings match well. When you believe families are eternal, you're probably going to have more kids and a better home life and a better family life that creates a better society. The nuclear family does that. So I like that Scientology is very much about application because that matters more.
So yeah, this is what impressed me. First off, they ingested us well. First, they were very cordial, super clean, super nice place. We go in there. We introduce ourselves. I introduce Kwaku Ellis as their biggest super fan, and he basically says, "I'm a closeted Scientologist," you know. And
how do you say closeted Scientologist, not closeted and a Scientologist? Because they're very different.
Yeah, that's funny. So a closeted Scientologist. And what's really funny is we introduce ourselves as being radio hosts and running a show, and it was really interesting. I think they did a good job of assuaging what they've perceived as popular fears of just going into the Church of Scientology experience at the beginning. And they said, hey, look, guys, feel free to study and to learn. There's no conversion that goes here. You know what I'm saying? You can be a Scientologist.
You don't have to leave your former faith to join theirs, which was really interesting to note because I'd never heard that.
Yeah, I'd never heard that.
Yeah, they don't have a specific belief about God. Whatever you believe about God, you just keep and you just apply their principles to whatever it is. So it's not a normal religion. It's almost a fraternal order in a sense.
Well, it seemed like what people claim Freemasons were before, where like you could be from any other faith, but then you did it. Before I finish saying what I liked, let's hit this. Jonah Barnes gave us another super chat here. Thank you, Jonah. Says, Kwaku Ubermensch, I love you, brother. Let's just keep super chatting until these guys all fall asleep with the camera still rolling. As long as you super chat, we won't leave.
So he called me a Gadian robber and a German. That's really...
but the German Superman, man.
It's true.
Yeah,
Ubermensch. Wait till you hear our Maria Orsic podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Like that one. You're like that one.
Two other super chats, by the way.
Oh, crap. What are they? Hit me.
More Kwaku talking about John D. When?
Oh, John D.
Yeah. John D.
I talk about John D a lot.
Yeah, get into some Enochian language, bro.
I just need to do a Kwaku channel again, don't I?
Yeah, you do. It would be good.
Yeah.
And then love the show. Nobody is safe from callings, by the way. Much love. 30-year-old bishop in Mesa.
Yeah. Oh, 30-year-old bishop. Oh, dude, they're calling guys my age now. I have two friends I went to high school with that are bishops in our stake now, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bishop Ellis.
No, Bishop Ellis, please, dude. First off, stake president is my freaking uncle-in-law, my wife's uncle. At family dinners, I literally sit around and tell him what he's doing wrong, and he hates it.
And if you tell him what he's doing wrong for long enough, he'll be like, fine, you try.
No.
Give it a shot.
Okay, so he's my uncle-in-law, right? And he does the apostolic chuckle, you know what I'm saying? But like, he probably hates, he's like, oh, Cardon, that's a good idea. Now quit bothering me. You know what I'm saying? But like, he's probably sick and tired of me and my opinions on how we should run the church. I doubt for a minute that he wants to be stuck inside of some kind of correlation meeting with a Bishop Ellis. He'd probably want to just like literally renounce his own citizenship in the church at that point. You know what I'm saying? Just run for the mountains. Yeah, not citizenship, membership.
Yeah.
And okay,
funny,
the second and third counselors are guys that were like my young men's president and like in my ward growing up and remember what I was like as like
they know all
a crazy 13-year-old. So like, you know what I'm saying? They're probably just as fearful as my uncle. I am the safest person in our stake from any kind of calling of serious responsibility. Although I am the primary pianist and I love my calling. And that's not to say primary is not serious. In fact, I think primary is one of the most important callings. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I totally love my calling. So anyway, back to the cool Scientologist.
One other, Kwaku should continue his acting career. Kwaku is the man. That is another
you were just asking if you could be Elijah Abel in a movie.
In one rated R movie years ago. Everyone found it, even though we buried it hard online. They found it. And now, yes, I will play Elijah. That's not true. That's not true at all. But someone's making an Elijah Abel movie, and my name was thrown into the hat to play Elijah Abel. So
your name was thrown into the hat, or you threw your name?
I've heard people saying, frankly.
By the way, look at his hands. He's doing the Donald Trump hands.
Many people were saying, I'm hearing.
They asked me if you know what I'm saying. That's funny. So anyway, so we go in there and the Scientologists say, hey, look, you don't have to actually convert to learn from Scientology. And I was like, what, really? And what's so interesting is Peter came back after we'd watched a couple of the videos, Brad.
Yeah.
And he showed me L. Ron Hubbard's Path to Happiness like a little beginner's pamphlet. You know what I'm saying? In which it literally said in the paper, to enjoy the, the benefits and blessings of Scientology, you do not, there's no requirement to renounce previous faith, this and that. And he showed me in like, I guess the equivalent of their articles of faith, where it says that you don't have to do any kind of quote specific conversion process, which I thought was like, wow, dude, this guy's doing his due diligence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's not just blowing smoke, and he's working hard, right? So anyway, when we sat down, we all did the Dianetics, the cans. What are those called? The E-meter.
The E-meter.
We all did the E-meter together. And I realized I was screwing with the E-meter because when I gripped it harder, it made more contact with my hands, so it would mess it and go. And like, poor Krista was trying to get a reading on that thing, and it was just going with me, you know what I'm saying? But I heard you talk to her for like 10 minutes, and that was cool. You can share what that experience was like. I didn't see Kwaku on it, but I sat down with Peter for a while, and I asked him some questions. I was like, dude, so like, what do you love about this? Dude, he's been in it from a really young age. He'd started when he was 13, and he just took a communications course. And he was like, dude, I just love it. And I was hooked. And like, I love Scientology. And I was like, what do you love about it? And he was like helping people. Like, I see all of the good that it does. And I was like, okay, cool. And he had a wedding ring on. So I was like, oh, so you're married, And he was talking about, yeah. And that was kind of dispelling some myths that I had before. And then I asked something interesting. I said, look, dude, I'm Mormon. And I lived in Germany briefly, and I have a lot of friends that are German. Sometimes they confide in me that, it kind of sucks when you introduce yourself as German because there's always an NAZI joke coming right now. And, of course, when you introduce yourself to somebody new as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, aka Mormon, there's always some polygamy joke coming around the bend. You know what I'm saying? And I said, well, is there anything like, as a young man who's like, a dedicated Scientologist that, you're just kind of like, you just wish people just knew the truth behind, you know what I'm saying? Or that like they didn't do in that regard. And he actually, I have a lot of respect because you know what? He stopped and he kind of got a little more comfortable in his seat and he thought for a second and he gave it a solid, like I'd say 10, 15 seconds to think. And then he said, that's a good question. And he's like, if I had to pin it down, he'd say, I wish people could understand the difference between the fact that L. Ron Hubbard wrote science fiction and that he was a science fiction writer and his research and the technology that he developed. That though he was the same person that was writing fiction and then was writing, scripture and technology, that like they're not the same thing.
It's not like they're sitting there with their scripture book being Lord of the Rings. They are like, this book Dianetics is like totally an instruction manual on how to live your life in a spiritually fulfilling way. Can
I also say these are some of the things that I feel like are really cool about Scientology and made me kind of like L. Ron Hubbard, because I love to like the guy that everyone hates. All right. So he created a drug to help people who were suffering from radiation poisoning in 1951. Okay, and it was called Dianazine. And do you know what this horrible drug was made out of?
What?
The ingredients of it, the full ingredients: vitamin B, iron, vitamin B1, vitamin B2, vitamin C, and calcium. All things people generally need and have deficiency of. Do you know how the FDA reacted to it?
How? What?
They showed up to Scientology headquarters and stole thousands of Dianazine and destroyed it. Yeah. And then even crazier, in 1963, the FDA shows up. There's like hundreds of them to Scientology headquarters with weapons. They force their way into the Church of Scientology and destroy like 700 e-meters.
Whoa. What?
Yeah. The Church of Scientology went after the FDA and like won. But you're telling me they're not telling the truth when you're destroying their vitamins and you have to send armed FDA army men to destroy their e-meters, which you just say are scales with tin weights? Like, dog, you can't do that and have me not believe that it works. You know what I'm saying? It's like, especially when you're the FDA. So that actually happened. And
dude, post the Rona pandemic, with all of the science, follow the science or else we're going to ruin your life, fire you from your job, mandate that you can't exist on social media, not allowed to have alternate opinions on anything. Oh, and if you actually think you want to cure this thing holistically and naturally, you're a bad person, you're evil, you need to lose your job, right? I mean, that was basically the ethos of everything for 2 years straight, and it was all state-sponsored. So when these guys come out and they say we're dubious of psychiatry and the whole industry that profits, dude, their video hit hard. Now, I'll be honest. Some of those videos had a little bit of a late 90s, early 2000s corporate industrial vibe, all right?
Their psychiatry video was like called An Industry of Death.
The full documentary on YouTube. I'm going to watch it.
No, but it was epic, though. And they said a really powerful line, though. It was kind of goofy. And Kwaku said something really funny during one of the videos. He said, this kind of looks like the videos that they make in movies when they want to show a corporation's corporate video.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, it kind of had that like 90s corporate video vibe, right? Mm-hmm. But they did, and there was one sentence that was so powerful at the beginning of their psychiatry video where they said like, this industry makes $35 billion peddling this many pills, this many prescriptions, and this many drugs per person in the United States of America, right? Without actually finding one cure. And it's true. All the drugs just mask symptoms and require repetitive, i.e. very expensive and subscription-based usage. And that was powerful when they said, and they never find one cure. And it was like, ooh, that was powerful. So anyway, before you fanboy some more, Kwaku, there's a fan person for you.
Yeah, you're
and they super chatted. They said, Kwaku's teeth so bright they blind me. Apparently you have a beautiful smile, Kwaku.
Aww.
Yeah.
Cardon, misspelling my name, dresses as if 2006 was a person. Savage. That was brutal. You know what I'm saying? And Gigabrad reinforced. By the way, what is so 2006 about this? My wife bought me this. This is Lululemon 2021.
Yeah, but Lululemon's chuggy.
Look at your hat, bro.
It's chuggy.
What? This is my hat. I bought this in Home Depot.
It doesn't matter where you...
It's Milwaukee.
Yeah,
my favorite drill brand.
A backwards hat without a snap connector is very 2006.
You have a favorite drill brand?
Yeah, because I'm actually a blue-collar dude that works.
Actually,
I build
fair.
my sets.
That's fair.
I build my own cases. I have
Except
to
you chose Milwaukee. Ryobi's where it's at, bro.
Right. Well, okay, no, actually, I really do like Ryobi.
They're good.
Super affordable brand.
Really
it's
good.
a house brand of Home Depot.
It is.
And in a lot of the do-it-yourself
No, yeah,
videos,
honestly, you do kind of have you do look like you'd be like found in a Jason Segel movie. You know what I'm saying? Like
who's Jason Segel?
Jason Segel.
The epitome of 2006 comedy movies that would play on like USA.
Dog,
at 2 p.m.
you've got a Hulk Hogan cut-off sleeve tee
Hulk
from when I
Hogan.
was a child.
Not a Hulk Hogan.
And you're wearing my sister's pearl necklace from elementary school. And you're going to tell me
This
that
is
I dress
2022.
poorly? You
It's
literally
2022.
have...
I'm
you're
really
wearing a-
glad
Oh
it's
my
2022
God.
as well, because Kwaku used to like dress in like boat neck shirts and stuff.
Yeah, I
I
did,
was like,
yeah.
bro, please
All I'm
stop
saying is
this. Don't let the trends.
But you are dressed in very 2006. It is very Paul Rudd, Jason Segel, 2006.
Paul Rudd's great.
Like
Check
that whole.
2000, dude, no, dog.
He hasn't aged
This
ever.
this shirt costs more than your wardrobe.
It-
Okay,
it
and
doesn't-
that doesn't
it
look
doesn't.
that good.
You know what I'm saying, dude? It's awesome. Dude, Lululemon makes men's clothing now out of this synthetic material.
I
that
know,
is, like,
but-
it's epic. It's
But
awesome.
Lululemon's stock is plummeted because everyone thinks it's chuggy. That's what I'm saying.
What's chuggy?
It's like blimey.
Like blimey
No,
or what?
no. It's like look.
Oh,
there's a
I
whole-
blimey. He's
No,
dressed
not-
better than I am with
not
my
like
girly
not like blimey,
pearls.
like a pirate. Anyway, the
And I
point-
stole my pearls from his sister. You know, your
what-
pearl nexus. You're wearing like
Yeah, but guys wear. Cherie, do guys wear pearl necklaces now a lot? Yeah, she's saying yeah. It's the new thing. It's why I always
just
wear
because
rings.
it's a new thing doesn't mean it's a good looking thing.
That's
It
fair.
helps get a lot of girls.
That's.
Jeez.
I mean,
Girls do like when guys wear pearl necklaces.
is this why you're finding girls that you don't want to stay with?
Oh, savage.
Oh, I've been finding girls I don't want to stay with since I started dating.
Oh, that's rough.
I'm not getting married in this climate. If I do get married, I'm going to get sealed to a woman. I'm not getting married to her legally. I don't want her to leave me and take half my money.
You'll get sealed but not married?
I've seen the Fresh and Fit podcast. I know what they're doing.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny. Okay, so Kwaku's teeth so bright they blind me. Cardon dresses as if 2006 were a person. I'm blocking this person. Hold on. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just totally kidding. I'm kidding. Giga Brad reinforces being a nice guy by being Canadian and LDS. Well, look at you. He is BT Witbeck.
Brad, it's a shame we can't have coffee because I feel like you'd be the first perfect face of like a coffee brand.
Only with the beard.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like I could see you having like a lot of men want to grow a beard that well, and you could completely be one of those millennial coffee brands you have to buy like in the bags from Instagram.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, we'd call it Chad Coffee.
Oh yeah, just the sideways
Chad
view
Coffee.
of this beard. Just like
Yes Coffee by Giga Chad. Giga Chad. What was it? There was two names that they gave you.
Oh.
There was Ubermensch and
Quakish
Kuman.
Quakish Kuman.
And then there was
Ubermensch.
Giga Chad Brad and then Brad the Chad. I think it was.
Uh-huh.
Okay, anyway.
Dude, by the way, I did get cast in like a coffee commercial where there was just like the weirdest hipsters ever. Me and Riley actually were in it. I think it was for like America First Credit Union, and they had us as just like the most hipster people possible in this little coffee shop.
I've been in some weird Utah commercials too.
Yeah.
So now SWTMTSU is backtracking, saying they meant that Cardon gives off 2006 vibes. And a bunch of people are dying right now. And my wife is saying, can we go to bed right now in the chat? That is brutal. She's texting me from inside. You know what I'm saying?
Leo
so yeah,
Winiger,
we got 5 more minutes left
Leo Winiger
before we
is
shut her
saying,
down.
LOL, y'all are hilarious. Leo, thanks for checking in. We were just recording with him earlier. He's the best. He's awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. So anyway, anything else that you want to say about your our visit at the Church of Scientology?
Well, I think that they get a very bad reputation, but if the FDA comes after you with guns because you want to sell vitamins, you're the good guy in my book, and I'm going to start defending you more. And the fact that they beat the CIA and the IRS and the FDA makes me think these guys have balls of steel, and I want to listen to what they have to say. Because you know what? If they're committed to fighting addiction and it's working, like, why are we that mad at them? Oh, they believe in an alien. You should too. It's not that bad. Like, it's not that bad.
And guys, they're like really good people from what I saw of the people that we interacted with. I feel like we have a lot in common because you have so many people say similar things about LDS people and Scientologists, you know? And
we should team up. Ziontologists.
Serious.
Ziontologists.
Yeah.
So we got another super chat here. 777, King of Kings, 777 says, thank you very much for the super chat, my man. Says, as someone who isn't Mormon, but was RLDS, I just want you to know I love you boys. Hope all is well.
Oh, really? Was RLDS?
That's interesting.
Community of Christ.
Yeah. I understand there was a division in the RLDS church, I believe, over women in the priesthood.
Yeah.
Sometime, well, I think in the early 90s, maybe late 80s, early 90s, at which point I think that's why the Community of Christ branched off and then the RLDS church like stayed. But there was some kind of division in the two there. But it was the RLDS people that tracked down the bones of Joseph Smith and dug those up and took those pictures in the documentary with Justin. What's Justin's last name?
Griffin.
Justin Griffin. Yeah. So for everybody that was excited about not a documentary, but an interview with Justin Griffin, that will be forthcoming as well. So anyway, you got another 3 minutes here.
This is really good water.
Yeah. If you got any super chats.
Oh, really?
Get them out of your system right now.
I've been drinking more water out of glass and metal. And you know, sometimes you drink water and you drink it and it feels heavy and you don't want to drink anymore. You know?
Yeah.
When I'm drinking out of glass and metal, I don't feel that. There's something about water and plastic bottles that makes it less enjoyable and worse for you. Maybe it's all the microplastics you're digesting every time you drink out of it.
Yeah, that's what I
would
say.
Dude, microplastics kind of freak me out, dude.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's like one of those hippie things that I actually think is legit. You know what I'm saying? Is microplastics. So, I don't warm up food in plastic anymore. You know? I don't scowl at you if you do and judge you.
I don't even use a microwave.
Oh, you really don't?
No, I
dude,
I don't.
He heats up your oven every time that we're having something
Is
left
that why
over.
my house got so hot yesterday?
I don't know.
I don't
okay.
think so.
All I know is, microwaves, they're cancer boxes. You should not be using them. Or you see the little kids will put their nasty little box popcorn in that's good for 30 years because it's full of the most preservatives from hell, and they turn on popcorn and their faces are just like staring at the microwave as they look at the popcorn ground. It's like that's so much radiation and cancer pouring into your kid's face right there. It's not good. We're all going to get something horrible from having phones with us this much. But, man, my gosh, microwaves will kill you. And I'm hoping phones, it's like our cigarettes, how, like, boomers smoked daily and they still live to be 95. I feel like phones will be like that for us. But, I mean, it's really, really bad. You should not be using microwaves at all.
Yeah, we got another super chat here from Ezekiel Lister. Says, Cardon, what cancer did you have and recovered from? Just wondering. It's actually have. I'm an active patient. And leukemia, my man. Fortunately, I have a type of leukemia that is managed with medication, and I fully embrace modern medicine. I'm grateful for all of the inspiration God has given man in advancing the ailments that hurt us, and I am so blessed. Like, I look at what my daughter went through with cancer and what other kids that had leukemia went through, and I can't even imagine that, and I'm just grateful that's not my plight. I take an oral, kind of like a chemotherapy drug, every day. I haven't lost my hair, and 10 years ago, I'd be strapped to a bed screaming bloody murder as they tried to take out freaking bone marrow and do bone marrow transplants and stuff because the technology was so much rudimentary back then. But now they figured out there's specific chromosomes that create bad cells in leukemia, and they've been able to hyper target those with medication. So I take a daily pill that slowly chews away at those numbers and those blood cell counts, and I might be on it for the rest of my life. I might be able to stop taking it after 3 to 5 years. We don't know. It's a long process because the technology is probably only about 10 years old, I'd say. So I'm actually helping glean data on how well it works. But yeah, that's it's leukemia, brother. That's the actual diagnosis, is leukemia. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, Ezekiel, yeah, hopefully that answered your question. I wouldn't recommend it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad it works out and I'm okay. I wouldn't recommend it. One thing I do notice is a side effect from medication that's totally real. Chemo brain. Like, just you guys knew me before my cancer diagnosis, right?
Dude, you were way smarter.
Was I really? Oh, brutal.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man.
No, but like I used to be able to recall dates and names and facts like boom on a dime like that. But they call it chemo brain, like the kind of brain fog that you get when you're on chemotherapy. And it's not so bad with this medication and stuff, but yeah, it slew you down. Then got another super chat from SWTMSTU. This goes to Cardon, love you, and I absolutely didn't mean what I said in any amount of seriousness. Oh yeah, we know that. We were just kidding with you. Thanks for the great stream, guys. We are a great stream, and you guys are great people to stream with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like 3 more minutes before we bounce.
That was 3 minutes ago. We got to bounce.
Okay, cool. 60 seconds before we bounce. Anything else that you want to say that we didn't say while we were talking?
I'm just excited about some of our upcoming episodes, and I'm interested to see what happens with Under the Banner of Heaven. I hope that it's charitable to our faith and doesn't make people view LDS people as other.
Do you think that's actually going to happen or no?
No idea. I mean, based on who wrote it, right? I'm worried, like with Krakauer being the author behind all of that. Like, I don't know, but hopefully it's more sympathetic than I'm worried it'll be,
Yeah, I hear you. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, it was real, and it was fun, and it was real fun. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out in the chat with us. Brittany, I'm coming. See you in a minute. Actually, see you guys in the next podcast. This is Midnight Mormons. Adios.
Xenu is real.
Just throwing that out.
All right. Boom, shaka, laka.